Dr. Jon Rogers, a retired GP from Bristol. So honoured to have met you this year. I think we share a lot of common values, and it's been great to get to know you. But Jon, obviously for the viewers today, tell us a little bit about your background and what led you to attending a protest for the first time this year.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a GP in Bristol for over 30 years, and I retired actually about 8 years ago, and I've been enjoying my retirement. And then lockdown comes along, and I think, oh my God, I look at the pictures from Wuhan and the pictures from northern Italy and New York, and I think, my God, the NHS is going to be under terrible strain, and I get a letter from the GMC saying, please, will you come back onto the register and be a GP again? And I reply, yes, of course I will, do all I can. And that went on for about 3 or 4 weeks. The idea was that flattening the curve, just taking the pressure off the NHS for 3 weeks. But at the end of that time, it carried on. And I was hearing from colleagues in hospitals that actually, it's no worse than a normal flu. They weren't getting the cases. And it just didn't make sense. And my daughter, particularly Jo, was sort of questioning it right from the word go and said, look, this doesn't really hang together, this thing. And the more I've seen about it and the more I've read about it, and the more I've heard about it, I've realized that it seems to be almost like a sort of mass hysteria in government. And it just seemed to be saying, this is a terrible, terrible illness, disease, which is going to kill 4% of the population, which is what they were saying originally. So in this country, it's going to kill 2.4, 2.5 million. Even when they said, they were saying, it's, just the susceptible ones, it's going to be half a million people are going to die of this. But of course, the truth has come through that it's actually far less than that. And the average age of people dying is 82.4 in this country. And, which is actually older than the average life expectancy. So it just seemed to be completely disproportionate in what was being done. And I was listening to voices like this, but nobody was listening. I wrote to the MP. The MP basically says, no, we've got to do it. This is a health emergency. And I listened to doctors saying, this is a health emergency. We must protect the NHS. And this wild, fear-driven agenda was just taking off. And and my daughter said, well, I'm going to this protest in London, which was about, four or so weeks ago. And I went and attended that, and we did that interview. And since then, I've been watching much more closely and listening to it and looking at how the government is responding. And I went to Newport the following day. I've been to Bristol, and I've witnessed what I can only describe as outrageous police behaviour, to me, in my opinion, because these are all peaceful protesters. They're normal people like you and me. We're not sort of militant activists who are there to overturn the system or anything like that. We're just people who are concerned that the truth is not getting through to people. And so I basically, and then I went up yesterday, and I'm sure we'll talk about that in a bit, but it is just, I am concerned that everybody in this country has been fed one side of a very complex debate for the last 10 months. And they've done that because Ofcom has made rules that say broadcast media, the BBC, ITV, any of the online, any of the radio stations must not voice alternative views. And if you only have one view for 10 months, it's not surprising people are really scared. So it's great to be here, and thank you for asking me.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing, Jon, and a pleasure to meet you. And Shakti, you were there yesterday. What led to you attending